How's life?
It's good, man. I can't complain. Can't complain.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Got new music coming out, some kick-ass music, dude.
Y- Yeah, I'm stoked. I'm stoked. Yeah. February 20th, big day. Yeah.
It's a fun time to be in the Veer Union, man. Um, um, I gotta ask, man, it's there's been a little bit of a change. Glenn is in the band now.
Yeah.
I had a chance to interview him a couple years back when he was with Two Shadows. Tell me about bringing him into the band, what he brings to the table, and what it's been like working with him this time around.
Well, let's start from the beginning. I have my own record label as well, and Two Shadows is one of the bands that we started developing like kind of right from the beginning of their
Sure.
career. And so I had known Glenn very well from obviously, producing and co-writing with them. And kind of while they're on hiatus, which I would not say Two Shadows is done. I would definitely say that they're kind of on hiatus right now, trying
Okay.
to figure a few
Okay.
things out. Um,
Sure.
so, so I said, hey man, uh, at the end of the day, I know that you play bass, and I've always felt pretty good about my screams, but I know his screams are unreal. So I'm like, why don't you double my screams? And we don't even have a bass player, so while you're kind of figuring things out with Two Shadows, maybe we could join forces. And he came in and it just everything clicked so much. I'm like, dude, you should just be in the band. He's like, I agree. And I'm like, so here we are. It happened actually very quickly. Like, it's not like this is a long time coming.
Sure.
It was just kind of like we had almost finished the album,
Okay.
and literally pretty much he came in and doubled all my screams one night just before we delivered the album to the label, and it just all worked out. And so it's been a really cool adventure with him so far, and so we'll see where it goes in the future. I think that we'll incorporate him a lot more in the future, I think.
It helps that he's just a legitimately nice guy. And it's what
100%.
he's like the nicest guy in the world.
100%. I could not
Um,
agree more. Yeah. Great dude. Yeah.
yes.
Yes.
Polite, well spoken, just he's so just I can't think of a better guy to come into the band than him, man.
Yeah,
He's
and that's exactly how we felt. Like it just was like he just felt like a brother right away. I mean, we were already had that kind of relationship,
yeah.
working together with Two Shadows, but like playing with him in this scenario was just like, man, it was so natural. It was and yeah, you're right. He's just such a good energy to be around. So
Yeah.
it's definitely been a blessing that we didn't know was gonna happen, but here we are. Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's hard to believe it's already been what 4 years going on, 4 years since the last record with Manifestations, man. But with Reinvention, dude, um, good God, you guys just fucking nailed it with this record, man.
Thank you.
Just
Thank you.
it's
Appreciate that.
heavy, it's heavy at the right parts, at the right moments, and you guys switch it up at just the right times.
Awesome.
Venom in My Veins is one that really stands out. Is like that song kind of the record takes a turn and goes a little bit darker and a little bit heavier, but at the right time as
Yeah.
well.
Cool.
Tell me
Cool. Thank you.
what absolutely. What did you guys want to do with this record? I mean, you guys are God, over 20, close to 20 years into the career, or
Yeah.
over 20 years
Yeah.
in now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. It's crazy.
you
It's
guys
crazy.
know what works for you, but what
Yeah.
did you guys want to do with this one? Because I get a sense of just empowerment with this
There's
record.
I think you're right. And I think that the bottom line is because we've been around for so long, obviously we're not reinventing the wheel,
Hmm.
like as far as alternative metal or rock or metal goes. But for us, if you look about from where we came from, like it's quite light. And
Hmm.
most bands, 20 years into their career, they're doing the lightest stuff they've ever done. Usually, later on in their career, seems to get lighter, and we've kind of done the opposite. And so, this record is very much, why it's named Reinvention is because we're reinventing ourselves. I think that, and not because we were just trying to, but just it naturally, it just felt like this is where we want to go as a band. And I feel like we achieved that, but we didn't want the next album to be heavier just for the sake of being heavy. It's like I wanted it to be melodic. I wanted it to be real, and I think that we spent more time working on this record than the ones in the past. And not that we're not proud of what we've done in the
Hey,
past. It's just that we really spent a lot of time, in every nook and cranny on this one, and we're very proud of this album for sure.
What was it about this point in your career that felt like it was the right time to kind of reinvent and kind of, I don't want to say reimagine what the Veer Union is, but
Mm.
reinvention, it's an easy term to use in this interview because that's the name of the record.
Yes,
But
yeah,
but
yeah, yeah, totally,
what was
yeah.
it about now that felt like the right time to just use? I know you said it felt like it was a natural progression, but I also feel like stuff like that when you're reinventing, it's something that's maybe been building for a little bit,
That is
and
exactly it. And I think that it was more so just kind of, you know, people that have been like, hey, when are you guys gonna do a record more like Against the Grain? And it's kind of
Mhm.
like, probably never,
Right.
if I'm to be honest.
Mhm.
Because that time is come and gone.
Yeah,
We're not in that headspace anymore. And it's just kind of
exactly.
like, and we're evolving as people, and so we wanted that to reflect in the music. And
Mhm.
I will say that one thing that has kind of transpired over the last couple of years is now that everything's based on an algorithm, I noticed when
Yeah.
we started putting out acoustic stuff on the
Mhm.
on the Veer Union, years ago it wasn't so segregated, if you will, but now it's more segregated on places like Spotify and Apple Music.
Yeah.
It's like, if you want to get the clicks and you're doing rock, you have to do rock on that. If you all of a sudden throw an acoustic song, sometimes it confuses the algorithm. So
Mhm.
it's not like, so I still have this heart for, like, or the love and passion for ballads and more softer music. So I split the brands and I did more of the softer stuff. Now, if you go to Crispin Earl, my solo stuff, you'll see that there's a lot of acoustic kind of ballady stuff. So the people that like the Against the Grain sound, go listen to my solo stuff. But
Yeah.
if you want something that's going to move you a little bit more, in a alternative metal way, and you like the heavier stuff, you listen to the Veer Union. So the brand's kind of split.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
you mentioned algorithm, and 20 years into your guys' career, you guys have been through a lot of changes in the music
100%.
industry. And obviously,
100%.
my side, I've been doing this for 15 years now, and so like
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of changes too. And when you mention the word algorithm, it, algorithm frustrates me a lot
Same. Same.
because I'm almost 40 and I cannot figure out the damn algorithm.
Well,
I just
I do know what you're saying, but the best way to look at it is and the way I look at it, and it doesn't mean that I'm right, it's just an opinion, but for the most part, it's like, if you are known for making this, whatever
right.
this is,
Yeah.
and then you change it so drastically that it almost seems like a different genre, all of a sudden, as somebody doesn't know who you are, doesn't know that the next thing that might be what you want.
Hmm.
So they might go, "Oh, I love this rock song. I love this rock song. I love this rock song." And the next thing you put out an acoustic song, I don't like that. And all of a sudden, they skip that. Well, that's the algorithm. The people are the algorithm. If they skip
Yeah.
that, then all of a sudden, yeah, your stock starts to dip, and then all of a sudden you kind of go, well, I thought that acoustic song was really, really good, and a lot of people will say we loved it.
Hmm.
But if it's if it's 80% of the people are saying no, I wanted another rock song, and 20% are saying I love that soft ballad, um, that you're not catering to the 80%. It doesn't mean that we don't love both versions. We love doing both types of music. But when it comes to the algorithm, you have to segregate. And it sounds
Yeah.
terrible, but
Yeah.
that's the way it works. It's like,
Yeah.
give these people over there what they want and give these people over there. We love doing both. So it's not like we're not being true to ourselves. It's
Hmm.
just that, you might as well give them what they want, which we love. Give
Yeah.
them what they want over there, which we also love. So
Yeah.
so it doesn't confuse the algorithm. That's basically it.
You guys came in at a very, I want to say, a really interesting time
Yeah.
in metal in the mid to
Hmm.
late 2000s.
Yeah.
I was talking to Paul McCoy from 12 Stones about this a couple
Okay.
weeks
Yeah.
ago, and
Yeah.
there was just something about that t time in music, in metal, in rock that was an interesting time.
100%.
And in a lot, some not so good, but some that just looking back is like, I kind of miss the way things were back then.
100%.
What do you remember about breaking into music and metal in the mid 2000s, what that was like for you guys, because I don't know
Hmm.
if you probably don't, but I remember seeing you guys in Des Moines, Iowa, at something called Laser Fest in the
Oh
middle of a
yeah,
hollowed out cornfield in
I remember.
2009.
Oh, I
And it
remember.
was no
Yeah,
festival like that. It's just
totally.
crazy.
Yeah,
But
100%. Yeah.
what do you remember about that time in music when you guys were first getting started?
Hmm.
And how have you seen things change for you guys over the years, maybe in some of the better ways?
Well, I'll say in one of the things, I'll start with the first question.
Sure.
What do I like? One of the very different things that I see that is happening now versus then, and this is a very distinct difference, is in 2009, before, like I think maybe MySpace was a thing then, maybe, like
Yeah.
I don't even know if Facebook was really even like the thing yet.
No.
So,
No.
so at the end of the day, back in the day, you had to create a buzz in your own hometown
Hmm.
without having to use the internet. You had to. I remember
Yeah.
us at the beginning of our careers running around at like 3 in the morning, hanging up posters, gluing posters all over the city, and literally having the city call us, going, "Hey, you guys kind of overdid it." But that was the only way that you could get word out, And
Yeah.
then the buzz started happening, and then we got a little bit of we won a radio competition in the local radio station, and that kind of started helping our buzz. But this is the distinct difference. Back in the day, if you could get a local buzz happening, then you would maybe create enough interest for a record company to hear about you. Now, this is the distinct difference. A record company would come and watch the band. If you couldn't play your instrument, if you couldn't sing live, if you couldn't do these things as a real band, you weren't getting a record deal.
Hmm.
Now, how big are you on TikTok? It doesn't matter if you can sing. It doesn't matter. None of it matters. All that matters is your popularity. If you're popular and you can't sing and you don't write your own songs, none of that matters.
Yeah.
So now it's just a popularity index. It's like if you're
True.
popular, you'll get a record deal. But back in the day, you actually had to be good and start kind of showing that you can get popularity. So that's a
Yeah.
very distinct difference that I see between that period of time and now. And now, obviously, there's a million bands,
Yeah.
and so it's there's something special about that time. But there's also some very cool things that are happening now because there's a lot of underground bands that we
Hmm.
would have never heard of, where you're like, it doesn't matter that they're not necessarily that popular, because that's some of the coolest shit I've ever heard in my life.
Hmm.
Because you're able to get access to things you wouldn't have before. So
Yeah.
there's pros and cons to both worlds, really.
And I feel like that bleeds over to my side of things too, because man, I can't tell you how many times I'll go back and watch interviews to get ready on YouTube, other people's interviews to prep, and I'll be like, how are they getting this interview is not good? How is this getting? How does they get so many views? This is not. It's not. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, yeah,
it's
totally.
but
Yeah,
it's like how
yeah,
popular, not compared, not necessarily how good it is.
good.
Sometimes I feel
Yeah,
like
yeah.
but also
Unfortunately,
then. But then you've also got bands like Pop Evil, like when they go out to headline, a lot of times they bring out bands that you have never heard of before as their
yeah,
support to give them that
yeah,
platform and stage. And so
yeah.
it's always really cool for me to see bands that have been around, adapting and changing and kind of giving other
Yes.
bands and artists a way in because it's so, good God, it's so hard in
Oh,
music right
absolutely,
now, you know.
absolutely. Yeah, no, it's crazy. It is crazy. So,
Um,
but the one thing that is awesome is the fact that if you really want to do it bad enough, there's a market for you,
mhm.
and there is a job now. And I think that's that's the thing that I like the most about the new world is the fact that it's like, I remember the amount of times I've heard managers and record labels say, well, if this song doesn't go, it's the end of your career. And I'm just like, I'm still here. And a lot of those
Yeah,
people don't have jobs in the music industry anymore. You know
right.
what I mean? So like, it's really, it's over when you say it's over.
Hmm.
If as long as you want to keep going and you want to keep evolving and being true to yourself, I think that there's always going to be a market to,
Yeah,
maybe not be the next Nickelback per se, and I'm not talking about
right.
that kind of band. I'm just saying how big that band is.
Popularity.
in the
Yeah.
popularity of the band. You know, maybe you'll never get there, but you know, you could make a living if you want it bad enough. And
Mhm.
and I think that that's what's really great about the new world.
One video, because you guys are all over social media with videos, shorts, reels, fun little videos. And one that really entertained me was the Standing My Ground short where you guys are playing the kids' instruments.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, we just
Absolutely
gotta
love
have
it,
fun.
man.
Oh, thanks, man. Thanks. Yeah, no, it's funny because you know the music that we create is very honest and very for the most part serious because
Hmm.
that's you know that just seems to be the topics that we write about. But you know, as people, we're very like everything is silly. We crack jokes all the time, not very serious people, but we write
Right.
serious music. So it's kind of like it's a bit interesting when it comes to that, you
Mhm.
know. But it seems like the more we kind of share of that side of us, it seems like people are digging that, which is cool because
Hmm.
they identify with the serious topics, but at the same time, you know, the not so serious nature of our
Right.
personalities.
Well, it's
Yeah.
like I work in local pro wrestling here in Indianapolis, and we have the same thing. I'm one of the ones that writes the storylines, and I find like for me, I find like it's the storylines that are not serious and just so off the wall, just crazy
Yeah.
that fans just absolutely love.
Yeah.
Because same thing in wrestling, it's a very serious portrayal, but when you can find a way to make it fun or entertaining or funny,
Yeah.
that's when fans really, really react.
Totally. Yeah, I
Just
agree.
make people smile.
Totally.
Um,
I
you
agree.
know,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, so yeah, but first record on a Rising, for
Yeah.
you guys. What was
Yeah.
what stood out? What made you guys want to go that route?
I've always said to the guys, because I mean, the last, I don't know how many albums we put out, you know, last 4 or 5 albums that we put out, are all on Rock Shop Records, my record label. And at the end of the day, I said, the only way I'll ever do another deal is if we get offered a deal from a European label and one that makes sense for us. That was the only way I was ever going to even consider it because I've been very happy just doing my own thing
Yeah,
and not having anybody say yes or no
you
or
have
having
complete control.
complete control.
It's
Yeah.
yours.
So yeah, exactly. So um, it's so funny because literally within like a couple of weeks of me making that statement, all of a sudden we got an offer from at a European record label, and I had been actually watching the bands that were coming out on a Rising Empire, and I'm like, actually, I really like the bands that are on this label, and I'm like, I think it's actually a good fit. If they give us an offer that makes sense, then maybe we'll try it. And so they definitely gave us an offer that made sense, and so here we are. And
Hmm.
very proud of everything that we've done, and
Yeah.
but yeah, we're hoping that we can get over to Europe and do our because we've never been to Europe. You know, as long as we've been
Really?
around, we've never been to Europe, not yet. No.
Wow.
Crazy, right?
I was surprised by that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially with how much you guys tour. I'm surprised you haven't been to Europe, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
was wanting to break into the European tour scene the reason that because European label is very specific,
Yes.
especially when you're, not wanting to do it on your own label anymore. Like that's a very specific, you know, um, point of view of what was wanting to break into the European tour scene, the reason you specifically wanted a European label, or what
Yeah.
was it
I
about
think I
Europe?
think I think it well, yeah, definitely wanting to break into the European scene for sure. You know, we already had and still have a decent following there, but
Hmm.
to really kind of to break into the market enough to actually get over there and tour, I thought, well, that's probably a good fit. Let's give that a go. And you know, so it certainly wasn't like I don't want to do anything on my own label anymore. It was more
Right.
so kind of like, well, let's see if this is different than working on our own label. And so here we are. That's basically the bottom line.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
because I know
Yeah.
Frontiers is in Europe, and I know bands that are on that label with classic rock bands love. being on a European label because
Yeah.
they a little less hands-on, a lot more freedom, more what do
Yes.
you want to artistic freedom, I guess is the right
Yes,
term for it,
absolutely.
you know.
Yes. And there's no question that they have definitely given us artistic freedom, that's for sure.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So,
Gotcha.
yeah.
Um, and it's rare that this far into any artist career that there's these types of changes and a reinvention and new label that kind of is like a breath of fresh air.
Yes.
So like it's really cool that you guys are still that hunger this far
100%.
in, that hunger to do
Yeah.
more and all
Yes.
that, and not kind of wanting to stay where you guys are at. But
Yeah.
that's also, I feel like that's also kind of been like the mission statement of the Veer Union is hunger, no complacency.
Yes.
And for a record like the Reinvention, where you guys do go heavier and bring in somebody like Glenn, like it's very clear that you guys have a lot left in the tank and you guys are nowhere
100%.
near, you guys are, it's
100%.
almost like
Absolutely.
it's almost like a I don't want to say like a new chapter, but like a whole nother like second era and career for the Veer Union, this kind of getting started.
It definitely feels that way. I mean, for us, I like I've already been working on the next record, and this one hasn't even come out yet. You know,
Nice.
like it's just, like I just feel like there's always so much to do, and just like you said, hunger. I
Mhm.
have that every day that I wake up. I definitely go. I am so grateful, and I know how lucky I am to still be doing music, let alone being making a living doing music, and so I don't want to take that for granted. I just want to keep on pushing, and it's not over. So I'm not gonna get lazy and sit around and go, oh, yeah, well, maybe we'll make a record next year. No, you know what I mean? It's like
Right.
I'm always just want to keep pushing through. That's a
Right.
big one for me. Yeah.
20 years in, is it harder to write music than it was when you first started, or is it the same? Does it get
It's that's
easier?
it's a good question. So I would say at least 5 times in my career, I'm like, oh my gosh, when I get to the end of a record and go,
Hmm.
I can't even imagine what the next record's going to be like. I don't know what I'm going to write. I don't know what I'm
Right.
going to do. And by that time it comes, I'm kind of like, I have a million ideas. I just every single time you think, oh gosh, am I going to get writer's block? If you just keep on pushing through,
Hmm.
you'll find that it doesn't exist. There's just always. It's just a matter of whether you're going to keep on trying new things. Like I would say, most of most of all the earlier stuff, I started from an acoustic guitar, and then next thing you know, it's like now I've got a home studio, so where I've got a drum beat, and I'm like, oh, okay, and then I'm writing around maybe a synth part and a drum beat that I've created, and like it just as long as you can evolve and keep on trying to do something, you'll find that there's something new in the tank that you didn't
Hmm.
even know was there. So yeah, I'll say I thought maybe several times in my career, I'm like, oh gosh, is this it? Do I have anything left to write about?
Right.
And then next thing you know, it's like there's 100 things still left to write about.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Um, it's no secret that the music industry is not easy, especially when it comes to touring. Fans don't realize that touring is hard. They
100%.
just see the on stage, like backstage, not that glamorous. Tour life,
No,
not that glamorous. I've
no.
done it.
Yeah,
Sucks.
yeah.
It's not for everybody.
I agree.
It's
I
freaking
agree.
awful. But when you're
Yeah,
on that stage in that rush, there's
yeah.
no drug that can replace that rush of being in
It's
front of
true.
whether it's 15 people or 25,000 people.
Agreed.
Nothing like it.
Yeah,
But those moments where it's hard, I feel like everybody who's creative falls out of love with it for a split second or a moment.
yes.
What makes you fall back in love with it when it's hard? Because 20 I'm sure it's not been a bed of roses all the time for you.
No, no,
What makes you
never.
fall back in love with it? You know?
I think you said it best. I don't think I could say it better than what you just said it. But the truth of the matter is every single time we go out on tour, I'm like, I can't wait. I can't wait to go. Because you think about the
Yeah.
positive stuff, you think about the good times, but it's no different than anything else in life. Uh, uh, ebbs and flows. Everything's
Yeah.
got ebbs and flows. So, you know, when I get out on tour, I think, oh my gosh, I just can't wait to hit the stage.
Yeah.
By the end of the tour, I'm like, I just want to sleep in my own bed and I want to take a
Yes.
shower that's longer than 3 minutes, you know,
Yes.
um,
Yes.
and you know, and not want to eat, fast food. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
these are the things that you long for. You just
Hmm.
you know, I just want to get back to that normal life. And
Yeah.
but 6 months of being home, I'm like, man, I want to get back out there again. It's a drug, you know.
Hmm.
It's weird. It's like it's very much kind of like you go out, you get hammered, you drink as much as you possibly can, you have the best night ever, and you wake up the next day and go, I'll never drink again. And
Yeah.
then a few days later, you go, maybe I'll have a couple drinks with the boys. You know what I mean? That's touring.
I know exactly what you mean. I will never forget when we got to probably like April or May of 2020. I just remember
Yeah.
sitting at home being like, "Huh, this is what home is like."
Yeah.
I'm like, I
Yeah.
don't know if I like it. And my
Yeah.
wife is like, not sure if I like you being home either, you know.
Yeah. That's awesome.
You know.
That's awesome.
And it's
Yeah.
just, but there is, and everybody thinks it's like the most like, oh, like the catering and the traveling. I'm like, catering's not always good. Traveling is not
100%.
always easy. And,
Yeah.
my friends in wrestling always say, we don't get paid to perform. We get paid for the travel. The performing is the easy part, you know.
Yeah.
The
100%. Yeah.
traveling is the part that is the actual job.
Yes.
I mean, and yeah,
Yeah.
like those 2, 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning in the middle of nowhere in like South Dakota where there's nothing open except
Yeah.
McDonald's or Taco Bell or
Oh yeah.
not even that. You just got to find a gas station, get some
Oh
just
yeah.
whatever. Like,
Oh yeah,
you
but
know,
but to top that off, it's like doing all those things. That's when things are good. That's when things are good. When you can actually get in your vehicle and you can get to that next gas station and you can find something to eat and you can go to the washroom. That's a good day at 3 in the morning. A bad day at 3 in the morning is you're driving along, you're like you're just trying to take a nap or whatever, and then your transmission falls out. Now you're like,
yeah,
okay, we got to get a new transmission. We need to get to the next gig. It's still 5 hours away. How much is this new transmission going to cost? How are we going to get towed to the next place? How are we going
yeah,
to do all of this? And then so now you're up at 3 in the morning, so you don't get to sleep, and you're trying to figure out how you get to the next gig, and you're at the side of the road hoping that a big truck doesn't smash into you from behind.
yeah,
It is stressful, man. Like it
yeah,
is nothing but stress. And when you don't have like a Prevost that well, if it breaks down, the bus company's going to be there to pick you up and give you a new
mhm,
bus. Bands at my level are not. That's not happening.
right,
You pick your tour vehicle and you hope that it makes it through the tour. And for
yeah,
us, I would say 9 times out of 10, if not 9.9 times out of 10, we've had a transmission die, an engine's blown up. We have the worst luck when it comes to touring, but there's still something. So now we go back and we look at all the. Remember when we survived this? Remember when we
yes,
survived that?
the
The
stories you have
stories
from the,
forever,
you
for
know,
days.
and that's also when you really figure out who's in it for real, who's in it for the long
100%,
haul.
100%. Yeah,
Like I said, it's not for everybody, but when you find somebody that it is for, like,
yeah,
oh man, like that
yeah,
camaraderie of just traveling. I know,
100%.
but coming back to reinvention, man,
Yeah,
it's coming out February 20th, which is
yeah,
hard to believe is already almost here.
yeah, yeah,
Man, when
yeah.
you look at reinvention, man, as the voice of the band, what does this record mean to you, and what does it mean to you to have this record coming out? What is this? What is reinvention to you?
I mean, as I said earlier, it's definitely about reinventing ourselves over a long period of time. It's like this is where we started as a band, and this is where we are now. And it's like if you go back and listen to the first album versus this album, it's the one thing that's definitely the same is my voice, and
Yes.
definitely definitely a sense of hope. I'm still always, I think that because I've been through so many difficult times in my life, that you can hear that in the lyrics and in the emotion of the songs, because it hasn't been an easy road for us. It just
Hmm.
hasn't. It's been lots of ebbs and flows, and
Yeah.
but we're still doing it, and we're still finding ways to be hungry enough to evolve and to keep on pushing forward. And so this is kind of just like saying to the fans, like, we're still reinventing ourselves. And no, we're not Nickelback big, but we are so grateful to be here, and we're
Yeah.
going to keep going, you know?
Yeah. You still have a, oh God, the Veer Union fan base is like one of the most dedicated
For sure.
that in
For
all
sure.
of music, man.
Yeah, no, it's
Um,
we're very, very lucky. Our fans
yeah,
have definitely kept us
yeah,
going, and
yeah.
absolutely beyond grateful for that.
Yes.
Yeah,
And speaking of grateful, man, I'm just thankful you guys are still doing what you do, still putting out not just music, but quality music that's good every if the, like you said, like it's different, but one thing that you can say about the Veer Union is anytime you guys release a record, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be a good
thank you.
record. It's gonna
Yeah.
have just you can crank that thing up, go down the interstate, and hope to God you don't see any cops on the side of the road.
Awesome. I love
You
that.
know,
I love that. Yeah.
um, in this one's no different, man. You guys fucking
Th-
killed it on this
Thank
one,
you.
man.
I,
It's
I
so good.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I will say that we spent more time making this record than we have records in the past.
Mhm.
A lot of the time it's like, or a few records we've kind of just made it as we go, because we do have
Right.
that ability to do that now. But this one, we really wanted to have a body of work where we go, what is this body of work? And I'll be honest, we the first, I think. May of 2024, May of
Mhm.
2024, we handed this record into the label. That's how long ago. And then we spent a year and a half working on this album before we actually delivered it to the label in May of 2024. So we
Wow.
started talking to the label in 2022. That's how long it's. So for me, I'm
Damn.
like, get this thing out. We're ready, man.
That's
You
why you've
know,
been right. That's why you're working on
yeah,
the next,
100%.
and I
Yeah,
get that because like,
100%.
dude, we get the
Yeah,
music early before fans do, and like, there'll
yeah.
be sometimes like the record comes out, I'm like, God, I've heard this thing 95 times. Can we get
Yeah,
some new? Can we get some new music? My wife's
totally.
been out for a
But the
day. I'm
fans
like,
haven't even
not
got
for
it yet.
me.
Totally. 100%.
You know?
So, yeah, 100%. So, but I will say, when I handed in the album in May of 2024, a few months went by, and I was like, I feel like there's 7 songs that are undeniable on this record, but
Mhm.
these 3 are just not. They're just not there. Like,
Hmm.
they're good. They're just,
Sure.
we want to have 10 songs where it's like, if you like song 1, you're going to like the whole album, you
Yeah.
know? And so for us, it was kind of like, the whole album has to, we weren't thinking about it as just singles. We were thinking about it as, we want people to listen to the album. We want people to
Hmm.
love the album. So I think, anybody that's pre-saved the album that likes this song and this song, you're going to like the whole album. And we want people
Yeah.
to listen to the whole album, because those
Hmm.
are the things that I like to listen to. Like, usually I'm more of an artist-based person, not like I have a playlist with 1,000 singles on it. Like, that's just
Sure.
not really my vibe. I'm
Yeah.
still a bit more old school. I like, oh, I like that artist. I want to listen to their album.
Yes.
That's so I wanted to
Yes.
create a record like that, and I feel like we
Yeah.
achieved.
And the
Yeah,
the full album is a lost art anymore, it seems like,
that's
it
what I'm
drives me
saying.
crazy
Yeah,
when people are like, oh, they need to just release singles. I'm like, dude, like, there's something about like some of my favorite songs on certain albums are not the hits. They're like
totally.
the
Same.
hidden, they're the hidden tracks in there. This
Gems.
like song
Yeah,
6 on this album. Like,
totally.
yeah,
I
this song
agree.
is amazing. Everyone knows it, but like, what about this one? Because this is
100%.
the
Exactly.
the
Yeah, I
and
agree.
it's just if bands stop releasing full records, man, just think of the songs that we may never get, or if bands had never
Totally.
just ever released a record, some
Yeah.
of the great songs we would have never
Yeah.
never gotten, even though we'll probably never hear some of them live, but like still
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Like when Shinedown was going to do the deep dive tour before COVID and was play only songs that weren't hits, I was like,
Right.
yes.
That's
Then it got
cool. Yeah.
canceled because of COVID. I'm like, damn it.
Right. Yeah,
you know
exactly. Yeah.
yeah, dude,
Yeah.
thank you for still releasing full records, man, because like there's so many hidden gems on so
Yeah.
many records that
I agree.
fans would never be able to hear or get if you didn't release a full record, man. So it
I
means a
agree.
lot that you guys are still releasing full albums.
Absolutely. And we like that. I mean, I feel like
Yeah.
that's where the heart of what the artist is trying to say is within the whole
Hmm.
body of work, you know?
Yeah.
And it's unfortunately it's just getting washed down and washed down, you know. Now AI is in and it's just kind of like, well, we'll see where that goes, you know. But I do think that, you know, the flip side of that, you know, just touching on AI for a second, I think that it is going to make those things more special. I think,
Yeah.
you know, because it's just going to be 1,000 AI songs that are pretty good, you know,
Hmm.
that are all going to be out there. But people are going to hear the difference between the artist and be more connected to that artist. I think that,
Yeah.
you know, in some ways, it's just a matter. People are going to love all this AI stuff right now because they get an
Hmm.
abundance of whatever it is they like. But then they're going to get
Yeah.
bored of that and they're going to go, I want to invest my emotions and my time
Hmm.
into something that's real.
Yeah.
That's my gut. I'm not saying I'm right, but
Well,
my gut is telling me that I think that that's where the future is going to be
well,
going.
that and I think people are going to get tired of like being kind of catfished into thinking certain things are
100%.
really a certain artist, or like you see it
Oh,
with AI movie posters so often right now. Like the freaking if I see that AI Nightmare on Elm Street Fred movie poster one more freaking time that says
absolutely.
DJ Qualls is Freddy Krueger, I'm gonna lose my
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah,
And
I'm
I think
with
people
you.
are gonna get
Yeah.
tired of thinking, may being made to think that something is real, and
Yeah.
then hopefully they go and find what really is real and find like
Yes.
I think Miles Kennedy said recently, or Tremonti said that like AI music is gonna could easily be the death of real true artists and creativity if it's allowed to take over. And I completely agree. It's going
Yeah.
to kill creativity and artistry, and hopefully fans get tired of it and go
I
find the
think they
real
will
stuff.
though. I because here's the thing. Information's traveling so much faster than it's ever
Mhm.
traveled. And you know, so that means people are consuming twice as much as they've ever consumed, you
Mhm.
know, and I think this new AI movement is going to make them consume even faster. You know,
Yep.
not 2 times faster, not 10 times, now 100 times faster. So now it's like if you put a bowl of ice cream in front of a kid and he's just like just mowing down that ice cream, all of a sudden it's
Mhm.
not special anymore. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I think that that's what's going to happen with music. There's just going to
Yep.
be so much of the same thing that it's not special anymore. Then all of a sudden, people will go to social media of somebody that's actually real and be like, "What is different about this?
Yes.
It's real." And so
Yeah.
I just think it's a matter of time. Let everybody
Mhm.
go and eat their bowl of ice cream and overindulge in it and be like, "Hmm, I kind of want something a bit more quality." You know what I mean? This Breyers is okay, but you know, I want some fucking Haagen-Dazs. You
There
know
you
what I
go.
mean? So
Yes.
like that's what I think it's going to happen. And you can't go see that AI artist. You
Yep.
can't. You never
Right.
will be able to. You're not going to be able to
Mhm.
see them play acoustic in your living room. That's never going to happen.
Yep.
But real artists maybe,
Yes.
you know.
Yep.
So,
I completely agree. Yeah, man. Dude,
yeah.
this has been awesome, man. I've had a blast doing this with you today, man.
Yeah, you too.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much for taking time, man.
My pleasure,
Congratulations on
man.
a kick-ass record, man. This thing is
Thank you.
good. You've got something to be proud of. I know the Veer Union Nation is gonna fucking fall in love with this thing.
Thank you.
As soon
Thank
as
you.
they hear it all
Appreciate
the
it.
way through, dude. You guys killed it, man. Congrats, and
Thank you so much, man.
stay safe on the road this year, man. Looking forward to
Will
seeing
do.
you guys.
Sounds good, man. Can't wait.